outcrop, and the Loan Uplifted Marine Terrace, which is part of the previous slide, which is about 450 hectares of uplifted marine terrace, which after the earthquake, the land was uplifted and then about 50 meters or 50 kilometers seaward. So this is a large area. And then we have the Kanawa Cold Spring. We have the Lamanok Island. We call this the mystical island of our province. And also the Inabanga Rapture site, which is, this is where the main fault of the 2013 great earthquake in the province. So there's a displacement of the surface of the earth after the movement. And also the Danahan Double Barrier Reef is a significant and very of international significance because of its unique geological formation due to its rich coral ecology and coral system, which is also home to very diverse marine life. And this is one of our pride. Then we have the Backline Ancient Uplifted Marine Terraces. This is a sequence of marine terrace. So there's also a Banacon mangrove forest. This is the mangrove man-made. This is the biggest man-made forest, mangrove forest in our province. It's about 125 hectares by the community. They do the planting because they realize that they need to restore the mangroves for the breeding ground of their fishes and other marine marine products. No, not products, marine lives. So this is the Balikasag Island. This is one of our, also another, our pride, because this is one of the best dive sites that we have in the province. And of course, our Philippine tarsier. This is considered as the oldest primate in the world, second actually. And then this is very small, about this size of our adult palm. And this is nocturnal, and the head can turn about 180 degrees because the eyes, because of the size of its eyes, it cannot move. So instead it rotates its neck. So this is considered near threatened species. That's why we are supporting the operation of the sanctuary of this Philippine tarsier. So for our cultural heritage, these are some of the churches which are declared by the National Museum as the National Cultural Treasure. So these are made of the coral stones. In number one is the Baclayon Church is constructed by the Jesuit priests in 1596 and finished in 1727. So most of the churches in our province are made of coral stones. So when the earthquake struck the province, all of our heritage churches were down. But the reconstruction started immediately after, like 1 year after, and then these churches have been restored, and the last one is in 2019, the Lobok Church. So we have also indigenous people in our province. They call it the Eskaya tribe. So I'd like to share our journey towards the inscription of our geopark. So it started in 2013 when some of the scientists and geologists were looking for a potential site in the Philippines for a UNESCO Global Geopark. And then because of the earthquake, they find Bohol to be a potential site, but because of the earthquake, the reporting was delayed. And finally, on April 2015, field investigations and preliminary consultations to our leaders at that time were started. And then in 2017, the book called A Window to the Philippines' Natural History Towards Sustainable Island Development was launched and distributed to all the stakeholders. And from April to October were the series of consultations and meetings and workshops for the inscription towards the finalization of our application dossier. So during the October 2017, during the fourth Bohol earthquake commemoration program was the launching of the Bohol Island Geopark and the symbolic unveiling of the Chocolate Hills Geomarker. So there, after those unveiling ceremonies, then we submitted finally our application to UNESCO in 2018. And then the evaluation was conducted in 2019. And then we were hoping that we passed the evaluation, but no, we were given a yellow card because we were given a maximum of 2 years deferment period. So we had 2 years to move forward and to address all the concerns of the evaluators because we need a geologist. We have not had any geologist yet. That's why we hired Carl. We need visibility. We didn't have any website yet. And we need more partners and we need geomarkers, storyboards, info centers. There are a lot of lacking ingredients for a UNESCO to be inscribed by the UNESCO Global Geopark. So for this past and current initiatives, and it was also very timely because COVID-19 we experienced every country experienced the wrath of COVID-19. But despite those challenges, we were able to still accomplish some of the UNESCO requirements. So Carl will now discuss the past and current initiatives in the Geopark. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I am Carl Michael Dean, geologist of the Bohol Island Aspiring Geopark. So just like what Miss Tata said, all of us experienced the COVID-19 pandemic. We are all affected by this global health emergency. So, but despite that, we persevere as a de facto global geopark. And at the same time, while we experienced the pandemic, we also faced. We were hit by Typhoon Odette. It was considered as a super typhoon. So though those are just some of the challenges that we faced for the past 2 years. So these are the past and current initiatives in the Geopark. I'll just have a run through of this one. So we need, of course, one of the recommendations of UNESCO is the participation of indigenous people in our management. So we coordinated with them and did some orientation, information drive, just to introduce and help them understand the concept of Geopark. Another is geotourism, another important component of Geopark. We designed or proposed an information center or a visitor center through the provincial engineer office. We also utilize existing facilities such as the tourism offices of different municipalities and the existing information center of the Chocolate Hills complex. We also reconstructed the Geopark our website in coordination with the Bohol Information and Communication Technology Office. We also produced and distributed Geopark leaflets, maps, storyboards, standees, and standees to various LGUs with geosites. We also organized an online logo making contests. So just some of the pictures of our proposed Geopark Information Center. We already have a space for this one, and little by little, we are installing or putting up some information to that space. This is our Geopark website. Some of our leaflets and guide maps, and our social media pages. So as you can see, that is our former logo. We have a new logo, which I will share later. Some of the standees and storyboards, these are just some of the pictures. But the recipients of these standees and storyboards are these municipalities. So this one, we organized a logo making contest. So it's an online, an online crowdsourcing activity. So 15 Boholano artists participated in this contest, and this one was selected as the winner. So for our promotions and marketing, we collaborated with the Miss Universe Philippines organization. So this one is the ambassador for tourism. for the inclusion of Geopark in a promotional video. We also collaborated with vloggers or social media influencers in our province in Bohol. So I'll just share play a video. So Behold Bohol is our tourism tagline. So that's the latest tourism video of our geopark or our province. Now we go to geo-education. We don't have formal education yet. We are still coordinating with our Ministry of Education to formally integrate the geopark concept to the curriculum of for primary schools and secondary schools. But we are making efforts such as site awareness campaign in observance of the International Year of Caves and Karst. We also conducted series of information and education campaign among LGUs with identified geosites. What happened? Sorry.
The projectors are starting, so if you can talk about it.
Okay. So we also have local partnership and collaboration again with Askaya IPs, with the Department of Education in Bohol for different activities. We also have an active mining site. It's a quarrying site. So we coordinated with the Bohol Limestone Corporation and the Philippine Mining Service Corporation for potential partnership and cooperation. Because we also have to acknowledge that mining is also essential in for sustainable development. So we need to find a balance to uh, find where the two things, conservation and sustainable mining, can coexist. We also coordinated with the Department of Tourism for a competition, a Motor 7 photo and video competition. Again, with the vloggers and influencers, with the National Museum, Bohol, to share recent updates in the Geopark project and to discuss the need of formalizing the partnership within the Geopark and National Museum. We also coordinated with the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples to ensure that our activities with the Skya IPs conform with the laws protecting them. We also again with the Department of Education for the integration of Geopark to the curriculum. We also partner with End Child Prostitution and Trafficking Philippines Bohol, so it's an NGO, for a collaboration on a potential livelihood project, which is oyster farming in Clarine, Bohol. We also participate in different networking activities. We had a knowledge sharing with Hong Kong UNESCO Global Geopark. We presented the project to different international conferences. We participated in the series of Asia Pacific Geoparks Network Let's Do It Zoom meeting hosted by Hong Kong UNESCO Global Geopark and other workshops. Of course, another networking activity, but also at the same time capacity development building, is participation to the intensive digital course on UNESCO Global Geoparks. So we also have research activities and project collaboration with Project iRise, which is a disaster risk management system that aims to bridge the information gap between local government units, disaster risk management offices, and the island communities in the northern part of Bohol. So Project iRise won the 2021 Google Solution Challenge, which is an annual competition that invites students to develop a solution for one or more of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Again, and this one, of course, the current activity, we also partner with different geoparks four continents connected through playful geo-education, which was presented a while ago. And another research and project collaboration, we are proposing to establish a Center for Heritage Conservation in our geopark under our Ministry of Science and Technology. So it's a program. It is initiated uh, by a group of scientists from the UP National Institute of Geological Sciences and in partnership with Bohol Island State University, which is the only state university in Bohol. So our activities are mainly or purely products of collaboration. So that's really the key to be able to uh uh sorry to be able to achieve the goals of Geopark. So before I end my presentation, I just want to share with you our most recent. It's a music video for it's about 4 minutes about a woman. It's like a woman wandering around the geopark. It's like she's having some self reflection.
Iabot diretso itong panahon na pati ang imong katahon sa kadugay ikahon. Sakit ang unang aghihon, dili ang irson nga dili mo akong ang dugay ipanganti. Gusto mong kaputo sama o kini Napagpinta ayaw sigiglan na ayaw silang iramay lupad buwan ang kalibay Napagpinta ayaw sigiglan na ayaw silang iramay lupad Lupad sa dahon ang lugar na gusto kong atukin man sa tamis mong pahiyo biyahe kong sa kilawon sama o kini lupad ka ayaw sigiglan na ay silang may langay lupad uban ang kalibay ayaw sigiglan na ayaw silang may langay lupad lupad munday
Ayaw sige landay, ayaw silangay-langay, lupad, lupad tinday, lupad tinday. Ayaw sige landay, ayaw silangay-langay, lupad, lupad ang katibay, lupad tinday. Ayaw sige landay, ayaw silangay-langay, lupad, lupad tinday. Ayaw sige langay-langay, lupad, lupad tinday.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in Bohol very soon. Thank you.
Já děkuji za prezentaci.
I would like to thank you for this beautiful presentation, and now I would like to ask you for the following. So, if you have any questions, let us ask them during the lunch break. The Bohol Geopark is one of the parks that joined the GEON initiative, and now I would like to ask Rio Coco to present. I would like to ask Rio Marcio to present the National Park Rio Coco.
Come on. Okay, so yeah.
Solamente con una flecha hacia abajo para poder ser los próximos.
Buenas tardes.
Dobré odpoledne.
Good afternoon. I would like to present our landscape full of lakes and volcanoes in Nicaragua.
Solamente que no se nos proyecta la presentación.
Great, thank you. Thanks a lot. Sorry. Here we go.
No.
Venimos del Geoparque Río Coco. Me acompaña la profesora.
So we are here as the representatives of the Rio Coco Geopark. I would also like to introduce my colleague, Professor Rio Mars. Here you can see the area of the Geopark. It is in fact the Madrid department, which borders on Honduras, and it is split in 5 administrative units. When it comes to the total area, it is 954 square kilometers of the park. And we have 3 units here in which only indigenous people live. We want to perceive the geopark from 3 different perspectives. First, we want the geopark to be a cultural geological heritage, and then we must understand the geopark as a place in which socio-economic development can take place, and third, we want to understand it as a space for science.
La conforman las autoridades de los 5 municipios. Tenemos un consejo científico, que está en las universidades del territorio, un consejo consultivo de políticas públicas. Tenemos un equipo ejecutivo conformado por una compañera que hace la gestión administrativa, más un arqueólogo, y el apoyo de geólogos del Instituto Nacional Geológico. Tenemos la Comisión de Turismo y la Comisión Social y Deportiva. Esta es la forma en que nos estructuramos para la coordinación y gestión del geoparque.
Here you can see the fundamental organization structure of the management of our geopark. At the very top you can see the General Assembly. Below this we have the Scientific Board, and on the right hand side we can see a Consultory Board for public policies. Below this we have an Executive Board. By the way, a colleague, a geologist, is one of the members, and at the bottom we have a board for the tourism and another one for the social and education affairs.
Podríamos decir que es una conformación mixta, porque también hay representación de los pueblos indígenas, hay representación de las comunidades barrios del territorio total.
Maybe at first glance you may find it as if it were too institutional, too rigid, but that is not the case, because in all bodies we have representatives of the indigenous people, so it is not only representatives of the public administration or institutions.
Para dar servicios en el geoturismo.
Here you can see the 14 most important geoparks, geosites on which we concentrate and that we would like to develop further on in order to foster geotourism.
¿Cómo se inicia el desarrollo de los parques? Partimos de la participación comunitaria. Partimos como una estrategia, nos orientaron de abajo hacia arriba.
So how did the idea of the geopark come about? I like to point out that it was a grassroots initiative from the bottom.
Primero fue conversar con comunidades de los barrios, conversar en las escuelas, de lo que es un geoparque. Esta es la idea, buscar la aprobación de ellos, el acompañamiento de ellos para llevar a cabo el proyecto.
It means that we started the whole process by talking to the representatives of various communities. We went to schools and we explained what a geopark is. We want to sell the idea of the geopark to get enough support.
La idea nace por la visita de un equipo científico de geólogos checos. Llegaron a nuestro país a hacer un levantamiento sobre fallas ecológicas. De ahí parte esa idea.
And the idea came about after Czech scientists visited us to do geological survey.
Estuvimos con la compañera Pascova, quien nos orientó de cómo podíamos seguir la metodología, la conformación de la parte.
Afterwards, after our colleague Pakoya consulted us, we found out what all has to be done and which steps are to be taken.
Hicimos la evaluación de un territorio. Estuvieron presentes ahí por unos días, visitaron los sitios, conversaron con comunidades, con pobladores, y eso determinó que posteriormente enviar la comunicación en el documento que pertenecíamos a la red mundial de los parques de
So what happened next in 2019? A mission of the UNESCO came to our country. They spent several days with us, visited the individual geosites, they talked to the people, representatives of various groups, and this led to the fact that in 2020 we officially obtained the Geopark status. And we were also told by the UNESCO that soon there would be the first assessment, and if we are evaluated positively, we could still be considered a geopark in the future as well. For the activities of our geopark, we selected three areas. First, geotourism, education, and research and science. At the same time, we've also worked out an operational plan that we developed along with our Ministry of Environment, and based on this, we administer our park. Geotourism is really essential for the development of the geopark, and that is why we try to develop the most interesting geosites for the tourists. One of these activities is also to post a large information panel at the international airport so that people coming to our country can immediately read information about the geopark right after the arrival. Within the education activities, we had many leaflets and brochures printed. Besides this, we also had a book of legends published, and this book of legends shall foster the local identity. And at the same time, was a book was brought about the geology that we wrote along in cooperation with the National Institute of Geology. We also try to increase the visibility across the board. Here you can see the efforts to improve the design that we use in our information materials. In cooperation with the local businesses, we've been improving the infrastructure, and the local businessmen got loans to improve the infrastructure, as was illustrated in the images. At the same time, we also want to support the artisans and local craftsmen so that their products can also be attractive and can be purchased by the visitors of our
Tenemos
geopark.
también en alianza con el Instituto de Turismo y el Instituto Nacional Tecnológico la formación y capacitación para los geoguías, para compañeras, compañeros en elaboración de artesanía y también en el tema de la gastronomía.
We'll also cooperate with the National Agency for Geotourism and with the Ecological Institute, and we also want to train the guides who might guide the tourists, and also want to help the local communities.
Sobre todo, ahora que pertenecemos a ese importante proyecto gestionado de la República Checa, que es el cuarto rompedor. Ahí trabajamos en la geoeducación, programas educativos, centros escolares y universidades. Hemos tenido una coordinación importante con el Ministerio de Educación, donde se elaboró un documento didáctico que se trabaja de manera transversal en el programa educativo del territorio local.
Education is very important even after we joined the 4G initiative along with the Czech Republic. Along with our Ministry of Education, we developed some educational materials across the board so that we can promote activities at schools, universities, and in other educational institutes.
Estamos con el programa de las 9 escuelas que hemos fortalecido y consideramos un aporte importante dentro de la educación, dentro parque, la niñez y educación. Estas funcionan a través de juegos lúdicos que hemos ido trabajando, ya sea desde el conocimiento básico de la tecnología, la arqueología y otros temas en orden medioambiental.
Our Geo Schools project is also important. Here we mainly focus on the youngest, on children. By the means of new playful education methods, we wanted to provide them with basic information about geology, archaeology, and other stuff.
Eso lo hemos coordinado con las universidades. En este momento estamos en el levantamiento de catálogos de la flora y fauna de todo el territorio del parque. Además, estaremos invitando a la investigación geológica y arqueológica del territorio.
Research is really of fundamental importance. We cooperate with local universities. At this time, we are now developing catalogs with animal and plant species that can be found in our geopark.
La pandemia que ha azotado a la humanidad causó serias dificultades en la transmisión del recurso económico, ya que disminuyó sensiblemente la visita de los turistas. Por lo tanto, hemos tenido problemas en el pago de las cuotas globales a la UNESCO, la red global. Tenemos una cuota que pagar también en la red latinoamericana de Geoparks, pero estamos ya trabajando en un convenio, ya trabajamos con las 5 municipalidades para que ellos se hagan cargo del pago de estas cuotas.
If you want to be a geopark manager, then you must realize that it is not only that it is no easy stuff. We all experienced this during the COVID pandemic. It's not walking through the park. For example, during the pandemic, we also had to pay our contributions to the UNESCO and to the South American network of geoparks. At this moment, we are now trying to reach a joint agreement with all 5 administrative units in our district. This agreement should provide for the fact that the administrative units will pay the fees to the UNESCO.
Recientemente hemos firmado un convenio de colaboración de armamento con un geoparque de México, el estado de Hidalgo.
We also want to support the Latin American network of geoparks. As recently, we have signed a convention on cooperation with a Mexican geopark.
Las necesidades que tenemos no las podemos ocultar. Vamos a estar mejorando el centro de interpretación que tenemos como centro de información turística, la señalización de los parques, la investigación, inversión en materiales educativos y la formación por la población local. Esos son los retos que tenemos en los parques en estos momentos.
So what needs do we have? What has to be done? A lot has to be done. In any case, we need to improve our visitor center. We must also improve the signage in the geopark. We need to support the research on the geosites, and we also need more education materials and support the education of the local people.
Visión general de cómo hemos trabajado en los parques de Coco. El primero de Centroamérica y el cabo de Latinoamérica. Y esperamos tener éxito con la validación que va a hacer la UNESCO el próximo año.
And this way we gave you a general overview of how we work. We are the first geopark in Central America, the 8th one in Latin America, and we want to continue this further on and hope that we will remain a park in the future as well. So the film will only be interpreted into English and Russian. There will be no Czech interpretation of the film.
The planet Earth, wonderful in all its splendor, with breathtaking ancestral beauties masterfully carved in stone. In Latin America, there are places like a paradise throughout the hemisphere. And in the land of lakes and volcanoes, Nicaragua, many of them can be found. And one is recognized internationally with special exclusivity for great richness. There are great landscapes, and the richness in geological, natural, and cultural sense is immense. In the northern areas of Nicaragua, Geopark Rio Coco. In the northern parts of Nicaragua, in the department of Madrid, you can find the first territory of the Central American region. It is the 8th geopark in Latin America. It received the recognition of World Geopark by the UN Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. Geopark is a territory in which what stands out are the geological elements, and above all, an element that has an international relevance. In this case, in our case, it is the Rio Coco Geopark in the Canyon of Somoto. It's all about preserving the Earth's geological heritage. Within that is also inserted the cultural heritage, the historical heritage, and the heritage. For example, we have 3 indigenous communities, the rescue of the culture and of indigenous peoples, and also the landscapes and environmental aspect. The impressive territory of Rio Coco Geopark comprises 5 municipalities in the department of Madrid. Sonoto, Totogalpa, La Sabana, San José de Cutmapa, where the majestic Coco River can be found. Rio Coco Geopark gets a nomination, which is the first in Central America. There have already been intentions from both the Guatemalan side and also from Costa Rican side, but they have not succeeded. And we are the 8th, the number 8 in Latin America, and we also belong to the Latin American network of geoparks. The Rio Coco Geopark has 15 geosites, and among the main ones are the following: the National Monument Cañón Somoto, with international geological relevance, located in the municipality of Somoto; Laguna La Bruja, in the municipality of Las Sabanas, with huge biodiversity, myth, and legends among the locals; Las Tres Señoritas, an Asian ceremonial center of the ancestors, with a relief of eroded rocks located in Totogalpa; Piedras Pintadas, painted rocks, which has significant petroglyphs and is located in the community Icalupe, Somoto, within walking distance of the impressive geosite Mirador del Cañón Seco; the imposing municipality of San José de Cusmapa, the highest in Nicaragua, known as El Balcón de la Segovia, with a dazzling panoramic view and with a millenary town of Chorotega origin. The inclusion of this geological and cultural reference in the World Geopark network is an unprecedented achievement due essentially to the involvement and comprehensive effort of its inhabitants to be able to achieve the classification on the parameters implied by its effective recognition. Being named as Geopark and belonging to the World Wide Web of Geoparks, it's something like door open for new sustainable development of the territory, which is one of the premises, so to speak, that we have always been looking for. But such a development has to be based on principles like science, culture, education, which are important elements or pillars promoted by UNESCO. The efforts to build a geopark can be actually compared to a phrase of a great poet, Rubén Darío. If our homeland is small, we have to have big dreams. And so we have to have big dreams. The historical, cultural, and economic impact on the Central American country is of paramount importance, mainly for the communities that have the geosites, in which tourism and the economic activities of the locals are being strengthened and promoted. We, as community members, are very happy and grateful for this denomination that has taken our community actually to the top. We have been highlighted to everyone as farmers. We used to be just farmers, but now we're something much more. For us, it is about being proud. It is, everybody is mentioning us because we have in our department this great monument and such a beautiful thing as the Cañón of Somoto. We are in a very, very beautiful territory. And more than anything else, our Icalupi community previously didn't know anything about this potential, but then we actually started developing the infrastructure. Then we started thinking about receiving, or applying for this Geopark nomination, and we have worked really hard. We have worked really hard and very long time in order to get this nomination of a Geopark territory. The Laguna La Bruja, we actually saw it as something which is insignificant. But now with this new government that we have, that have actually come to really recognize this touristic potential for our community, but not only for our community, for our municipality as well. We actually realized how proud we can be. That is a really great thing to be one of the geoparks, one of the most important geosites for everybody. The worldview based on the mystique, legends, and customs of the indigenous people is something absolutely indispensable for Rio Coco Geopark, because as such it can be considered as a heritage of the earth, being essential for the preservation of the ancestral wisdom of the territory. La Bruja Lagoon has its mysteries, of course, because, the people in ancient times, our ancestors, they said that it's a place where the big landowners made their pacts, where the money has been taken out. And we saw in reality that there are so many mysteries. For example, when a snake crossed, then we actually thought, okay, if it's a black male, it means something. It's just simply a part of our history, of our myth and legends. An important element is also the creation of geoschools. And what is a geoschool? It is an area, a space where the child, a girl or a boy, a person can receive some more knowledge about the meaning of geological, cultural, and historical heritage. And in a transversal way, the studying programs actually make it possible that a little boy, little girl actually learns about the most important elements of the preservation of their culture and identity. The relevance that the institutions of the government of Nicaragua give to the issues related to the Mother Earth have been actually decisive to realize this dream of Nicaraguan people, mainly the citizens of Madrid, who today, nowadays, through this collective responsibility, are responsible for preserving the world heritage of the Rio Coco Geopark. Nicaragua has become one of the nations of historical reference of the whole planet, thanks to their incalculable cultural, natural, and human heritage, being awarded with the highest distinctions and recognitions at the regional and global level.
Muchas gracias por su atención.
Thank you for the attention. I hope I understood it right. Thank you for the attention. Now I would like to ask Mr. Volkmann from the Dinosaurium Museum in Prague, and then we would adjust the agenda. After this presentation, we will have a lunch break, and then we will give the floor to Mr. Docek from the Železné hory. Oh, Mr. Picha will be presenting as well. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are now coming to introduce another project. It is no geopark, but it is a private museum of dinosaurs. I have come with Marek. Marek is an economist by education, and I'm just a paleontologist as a hobby maker, but I'm really very pleased that we have also a main paleontologist working for us who comes from the National Museum in Prague. At the beginning, I wanted to give you a couple of facts. So at this moment, we have 5 large skeletons of dinosaurs. It is original fossils, petrified dinosaurs. They are complete at least to 75%. We also extended them by 5 models of life size, and we also offer a special experience in virtual reality, so you can spend the time with dinosaurs for approximately 25 minutes. I will not elaborate on this for too long. And we also have 6,000 minerals, species on our exhibition. So our museum is very close to a shopping center which is called Pop Airport. So here you can see the interior of the shopping center. The Pop Shopping Center now offers approximately 200 brands, with some outlets offering a rebate of 30 to 80% all year round, and it is really you have no problem finding a parking place, and we are just 5 minutes away from the Václav Havel airport. It looks like it's about shopping only, but it's not true, because at the very beginning the intention was to find a good combination between shopping and entertainment. This Tuchoměřice location, in fact, opposite the Václav Havel Airport, should be developed further on. It is now administered by the investment group Caprine. I will cut it short. There are some entertainment elements already executed, and some others will be added. So the outlet center, for example, has a gallery of vantage cars. So, for example, you can also observe the planes which take off just opposite this shopping mall. You can find here restaurants and shops, and another project that came was the Dinosaur Museum Prague, along with the virtual reality. We opened this in October last year. At the end of the year, the entertainment park Mayaland was opened. It is in fact a place where you can find various slides and 12 another attractive playground features for the kids, and also a water park for children should be built here, so that it is a good place for entertainment. Right now, I would like to enable a short expedition to the secondary era. I will now explain to you how we came up with this, how we all came up with this idea. You may remember this article. We wanted to develop the area around the pop airport, and we just started thinking about the educational and entertainment programs. The owner, Mr. Dražák, just drew our attention to this article, and he said, "Oh, we can buy a dinosaur." I just myself believed that his son was at that time interested in the dinosaurs. And on the basis of this article, we started thinking about how a private investor could buy an original dinosaur, an original fossil of a dinosaur. And so this all happened in April 2019. When I now jump in time, in October 2021, we opened the Dinosaur Museum Prague with another 4 fossils of reptiles. We have 4 basic expeditions here, for example, to the Jurassic times, or for example, we also have the sea from the secondary era. We also have the dinosaur studio, where we just deal with the picture of dinosaurs in the art, so for example in the films. Here we have the so-called university, which is a large projection with many topics. It is just information about which dinosaurs live at this date. We also have here an artificial trail created by a paleontologist, so that everybody can obtain information about how the whole process is, about what the process is like. So I will just give you some quick information and show you what the installation looks like.
Já to vidím dobře. Tak se musíte podívat ke mně. To umíš přepínat zrcadlení.
Windows P, but we see it.
Ne. Já si skočím. Tak. So welcome in Dinosaurium Zoo Prague.
Welcome to the Dinosaurium Museum in Prague.
Tady v závěru je vidět i takový
At the back you can also see a playground for the children, for the kids corner, because we must also offer them a place where they can really entertain themselves. Here you can find some interactive elements concerning the imaging of dinosaurs in famous films.
ještě poslední otočka okolo majestátního diplodoka. A kolem stezky malého paleontologa.
And this is now the trail of the little paleontologist, and it will lead you out of this museum. And where? To a shop.
Tak pokud jste moc neviděli,
So you may not have seen much because the video was quite dark, so I would like to invite you to this dinosaurium museum. It's just 5 minutes away from the airport, so those of you who fly back home, you can really stop by.
Upside down like so. And then I'm going to take some zip.
Konečně užitečný příspěvek.
Finally, a useful presentation.
Tak a teď poprosím Štěpána, aby doplnil.
And I will now ask Stepan to give more facts about the most important heroes. So I will give you a more scientific view on what we have. This dinosaur is complete to 70%. It sounds like it were too little, but it is not. There are enough skulls, but very few bones from the rest. So we are able to find a piece which is almost complete, and it is the largest that is exhibited in a museum. We can't claim that this would be the largest worldwide, so we would not be able to prove it, but it is 30% larger than what is the average of these exhibits. I hope you will see it when you take a look here at the back. It is a shield that is really typical of the dinosaurs. It was bitten by a Tyrannosaurus and it was healed. It was confirmed by our colleagues from the United States. They've seen thousands of such shields, but none was bitten. It looks like an old individual that probably was approximately 50 years old, which was the lifetime of these animals. This is our Diplodocus carnegie. It is 24 meters long and is complete to 92%. With the exception of the skull and with the exception of the tail, everything is original and it comes from Wyoming. It is called Dana Quarry. For approximately 100 years, the dinosaurs have been found there, and it is one of the most complete individuals that has ever been found there. It's really unique because usually you find bones there which are shredded into fragments only, and in this case only just a couple bones are broken, the rest are really complete. Approximately 50,000 hours were spent on assembling the bones into this skeleton, and some bones were articulated, which is really very, very rare. It is not common at all. It mainly concerns the left front leg of this Diplodocus. It should be really. It's very unique. We did not find any information about this elsewhere. Let us take a look at the Mosasaurus animals. This is really a brand new taxon. It is a new species. We have two such individuals which were found next to each other. It is quite unique that both of them petrified really together. Most probably they also died together. We still do not know why. We don't know if we will ever be able to to establish the cause of death. The larger one is complete to 90% and the other one to approximately 65%. From this it is really very interesting from this stratigraphic perspective. The Allosaurus is really the youngest exhibit. It is complete to approximately 75%. It's just average when it comes to the completeness level. It is found in Wyoming as well, but we do not know next to which animal it was found. The skull was the skull is well preserved, and we hope to be able to mold the form and shape of this skull. Now a couple of words about the models. All of the models were prepared by the company Blue Rhino. It's a US company, one of the best at doing these models at the moment. Our Tyrannosaurus was developed and produced by this US company. It should also reflect the most recent paleontological findings. So you may be surprised when you see them because these animals look a bit different from what you are used to. Probably we will not go into any greater detail, but it's really fine-tuned. We also have a model of a Stegosaurus. It is really the most recent exhibit that was added. It's similar, like in the case of the Tyrannosaurus. It should really show the animal on a very modern image, reflecting the most recent observations. This Quetzalcoatlus was exhibited some time ago, but unfortunately a study has now shown that the findings on the basis of which it was presented were obsolete. But I believe that it does not spoil the experience that the visitors have here. I'll now hand over to Mark again. So we can now quickly show you the minerals that we have collected here. It is approximately 6,000 pieces from the whole world.
Obvykle minerály jsou tak.
Usually the minerals are something which is being exhibited next to dinosaurs skeletons, and obviously there are much more minerals to be shown. In our case, it is more than 6,000 minerals that we exhibit.
Tak pojď ještě jednou. Se pan majitel přišel k.
The owner has managed to buy really hell a lot of material, and I think that our colleagues have still enough work for the following 10 to 15 years. Very soon we will be celebrating our first anniversary. And what should I say? I mean, it has not been easy to open a private museum. We thought it is going to be much easier. I mean, what we're really, really happy about are the things that you can find in our museum, all the artifacts and everything, everything what we have managed to do. Also with the Diplodocus, it was, as I said, more than 70% original bones. The mineralization has not been also easy at all, but we have really managed to complete most of the skeletons at a very, very higher level. After 154 million years, you can actually get the whole skeleton together. And what we're also very proud of are the evaluations of the people who visit us, between 4.5 and more. And in Czech Republic, it is actually not that usual that people would give such a high grade to something. So we're very, very proud of it. We thought actually that we will get a bit more visitors. We thought that we will get 200,000 visitors a year, but we didn't get to 200,000. It is true that we also started in a very complicated period related to COVID, and then of course also the publicity, and how do you actually make sure that people know about you? It is also maybe not the most popular topic, or people don't understand how important it is, to see an original fossil, or people actually don't understand very much the difference between our museum and other dino parks, which are actually which serve only as an entertainment and not as education. And thanks to Stepan and his team of guides, we managed really to complete the exhibition, to show really very, very much, or very many, very interesting things. We also offer an audio guide for the people who prefer it. And as I said, the evaluation from our visitors are very good. We also know that we get the highest number of visitors on Friday during the weekend when it rains. Many times when it rains or is too cold, people go to the museum. So we have our peak times, and when the weather is nice and people have something else to do, then we can get only 20% of the visitors. We have also found out that we have to start cooperating with schools. We have a special program that we offer to schools. And as you can read here on the slide, of course, we have been existing just for 1 year, so it is the initial phase, and we still have loads of work to do. What actually satisfies our owner is also the appreciation of the whole collection. because it is obviously not the objective of the owner to start selling it. But as the maybe for such a collection in the state budget, so why not? This is the question that can be asked. But there are many problems that we're facing. We are a private subject, and we know that the scientific community perceives us as something not scientific. We are being perceived or seen as a private actor that is not maybe ready to share its collection. So that is one of the problems that we're facing, because obviously being a private institution, we have to earn money in order to keep on going. So it's different. So what we really do believe in is that we will start cooperating with the public sector. We will start cooperating with scientists, and we hope that all these elements that are here on the slide will be one of the reasons why this cooperation could work. So more synergies, more unity, more popularization of science, all of this should actually work. So that would be maybe our wish at the end. It has already been said that our presentation is the last one before the lunch, so I won't take up more of your time. And if you have any questions, if we have enough time for your questions, then we are ready to answer them.
Takže pánové tu nebudou.
We have space and time maybe for one or two questions, but no more.
It's good presentation. Actually, it's quite interesting, and I guess we will visit your museum before leaving. So I have just two questions. One, from which part of the Czech Republic did you find these remains of the dinosaurs? And also, in the second question, during the action that you have just sell these skeletons of the dinosaurs. So right now it belongs to the private person, or it is still in the museum, but it's a kind of property of the private person who just bought it.
Češtině.
Okay, I will start with the second question. The collection is in private hands. It is the ownership of an investor who has actually lended this collection to a private museum. The museum is also private. The first question, where have we discovered the remains of the skeletons or the experts? But I will answer. All the fossils of dinosaurs come actually from the USA, This is also because of legal reasons, because you can actually buy dinosaurs remains in the US and not in other places. And the same can be applied also for the models. The original fossils. Okay, do you want to add something? Okay, my colleague wants to add something. We have 3 bones and 1 tooth of dinosaurs that have been found on the territory of Czech Republic. 3 bones and 1 tooth. But we have one Czech species of a dinosaurs which has not been found yet. But according to what we know, the dinosaurs have not lived on our territory And this was also one of the advantages for us because the National Museum has not perceived us as a competitor, but as somebody who is simply interested in science, because the National Museum actually copes only with things from the Czech Republic.
You're welcome.
Ještě jednu otázku mám.
One more question.
Yeah, thank you for the very good and enlightening presentations regarding the development of museums. For the case of my country, we have quite a good heritage for the public consumption, but we are constrained by finances and sometimes technical capabilities for presenting these heritages. Is it possible to know on average the amount of investment for this museum, the amount of operational costs, and if possible financing mechanisms, and your, how would I say, your collaboration or your partnership with public? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the exact figures, it's always ohledně vlastně.
Okay, the exact numbers. It is always very difficult to give exact numbers because they are usually not made public. As the financing is concerned, it is a really private matter. There was this investment group, Capra, which has paid for everything. It is also the only subject which is actually financing the whole project. At the beginning, it was pretty difficult, or the economic results were not good enough. But we would like to be autonomous as a museum, which does not mean that we would actually be able to earn enough in order to buy more artifacts. But as I said, the owner of the museum is actually pretty satisfied because he knows that everything what he had already bought costs nowadays much more. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation. And now I would like to invite you for lunch, and I would like to ask you to be back at 14:45, 2:45. And if you have any more questions to the representatives of Bohol Island, or if you want to ask our friends from Rio Coco, they will have lunch with their interpreters, so you can approach them.